say let's digress from the
No, but it's
unpleasant topic of cheating and so on, and talk about the times when you beat Kasparov, for example.
did it happen really? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. It was
I felt like it was
25 years
someone
ago,
else.
but a lot of us remember quite well, and I think yeah. I was talking to Emilio, and I think there's no interview, at least that I know of yours, translated into Spanish. So I think, yeah, of course, a lot of people have seen a lot of material in English, but
The chessable courses, yes, for sure.
we
I'll learn it in
wanted.
Spanish.
It's in Spanish, yeah.
It's in
Yeah.
Spanish now. I think it just appeared
Subtitle,
in
just
Spanish.
subtitle. Yeah, just
Subtitle.
subtitle.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
yet.
But yeah, I mean, just talk about a little bit about your career, also about training. We a lot of people who follow us are interested in. We have
Mhm.
viewers from all kinds of levels, but somehow chess fans, and they all want to be better,
Mhm.
and they're always interested in kind of insights from great players regarding chess training and advice and tips and all kinds of things. But yeah, I would start with the match, with the match against Gary, which is I suppose one of your greatest achievements, and something that almost everybody remembers, at least people who are
I
uh,
don't remember
yeah,
already.
maybe yeah, beyond 30 or 35 for sure. Younger than that, maybe maybe not anymore. But okay, it's. I think any true chess lover, even if it's very young, will know it. Yeah, because it's part of the history, and yeah, just tell us a bit. I think. I mean, before talking about the match, I wanted to ask you about your personal relationship with Kasparov, because I know that when you were very young, you went to Botvinnik Kasparov school in the Soviet
True.
Union, and I understand that was a big part of your, let's say, that played a huge role on your progress as a kid, and then again I believe in '92, when you play your first Olympiad, Kasparov was one of the main guys there advocating for you being in the team and so on. You were quite young, and then you went with him to the match with Anand in '95. So would you say he was kind of a mentor for you in those years?
In some way, I mean, not like, I mean, mentor would be too strong to say, but yeah, in some way true, because I went to, I mean, somehow like accidentally, as it always happens, I found myself in Kasparov Botvinnik school. Gary just became world champion. I think it was 86 or 87. I was the first, so he became world champion like 85. Yeah. And yes, so Botvinnik, of course, was such a legend. And for me, it was, as a provincial boy, it was just happened like accidentally. In fact, a friend of my father was a very nice person. He liked chess in our towns, well, relatively small by Soviet standards provincial town. I played pretty well. I even already won our men's championship of the city, so I was like 9, but I was talented, but I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a chance to show myself yet. I think I haven't yet even traveled outside of my region so far. So okay, I was beaten, like even won the junior under 16. We won actually a junior Krasnodar region. By the way, Krasnodar region it's not so small. Yeah, it's bigger than France, only one region.
Yeah,
it's a big country. Yeah, so but by territory, of course, not by people. But okay, so and we won junior championship of Krasnodar region under 16. I was 8 and Tivyakov was 10 with Tivyakov. He's also from this region. So, I mean, we won under 16. So it was clear we are not bad. We shared first, second and there was also Pavel Trigubov. He's also from our region. He was playing there, and some other guys. So, and he just called because he was at that time there were no mobile phones. if you can imagine, for young generations, there were no computers, even no internet. So he was the chief of the local post office, like post office of the town. So he had he could get all telephone numbers, actually, yeah, like, and he got the telephone number of Botvinnik, and he just called him home.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's funny. But he's very nice. I mean, was a very nice person, very intelligent, and really pleasant person. And he told that, okay, finally, Botvinnik picked up the phone. Okay, can you imagine, like, somebody calls Ronaldo, I don't know, whatever, Magnus now. And then, okay, he just started to talk that, I'm very sorry, I'm this, but, we have a talented boy, and would you be so kind to look at his games and so on? And I can imagine Botvinnik would receive millions of such calls. Yeah, I mean, okay, some talent.
Probably, yes.
But of course, most of the time, the guy wouldn't be talented at all. It's just like his parents think he's talented, or, I mean, that's usually the case.
But Botvinnik was it's extremely well known. Yeah, he was like a hero in the Soviet Union.
Yeah, no, he was a huge, big star. I mean, like, I don't know, it was, so even to call him just directly was already kind of really embarrassing. But and then he said that he didn't, like, stop the conversation next minute, but they had like 20 minutes talk. He was explaining, they were just talking, and he said, yeah, okay, send, I don't know him, but please can he send his games to me? And so it was like, Botvinnik, okay, everybody nowadays, because I remember him a bit, tells, okay, he was Stalinist, communist, maybe, I mean, in a way, yes, but there was different times, and also he was very, very honest always. For instance, not too many people know that he wrote a letter to Brezhnev, very critical letter in the 70s. I mean, just personally, it's quite a character. So he was
convinced of his own ideas, obviously.
Yeah, so he just told that, the country is not going correct. Actually, he was right, because the country collapsed quite soon. He was saying, okay, everything is going wrong, Mr. Brezhnev, I'm Botvinnik, so this should be done like this in economy. I even saw this letter. I mean, it's in archives. So, and just directly, can you imagine, by Soviet times, anyone, whoever,
would be afraid to do that,
would just directly send to, I mean, afraid, I mean, if you're not in prison after this, you'll have to be happy. So what I mean is, and after that, they closed him any, foreign, for a few years, I think he couldn't move abroad. I mean, they just stopped because at that time you could just stop the passport, yes, at the person. So, I mean, he was very honest in what he was believing in, and very, like, unprincipled. Yeah. So, I mean, he's not like this guy who was just, after the power. No. If he was not agreeing, he would tell it openly. Yeah. So, so then and then he was very, very nice, and then he just told to my father, and father told me, okay, can you prepare, like, write down, like, last 2 tournaments you played? I was 12, I think, at that time, and just I have to give to somebody. Well, okay, we didn't even know for whom, for what, and he sent it himself. And then it was an interesting story, because, I mean, I think, well, there is no reason to lie, because his nephew of Mikhail Moiseyevich Botvinnik, he was like secretary of the school. So he was doing all kind of work, to connecting with pupils and so on, so receiving post. And so he told me many years after this story that he remembers very well, when he received this game, he came to Botvinnik in the Gogolevsky Boulevard, this chess club, and with the games of the boy, some boy, nobody knows who. And then he said, okay, can you, because Botvinnik, he didn't see so well already at the time, so he was like reading this notation and showing the games. And he told me, after 3 games, but Botvinnik said, okay, we take him. And his nephew said, well, but Mikhail Moiseyevich, there are 20 games, yeah, so we shouldn't look at the remaining. And Botvinnik, according to his story, he said, well, of course we will look at the remaining games, but I already know that we are taking him. I mean, I guess it's should be a true story. So and that's like that. I got to the school, and then Kasparov was also there. He also liked me a lot as a. I mean, I even have photos or videos I can send you later of from this moment when I'm like 12 years old. I'm standing nearby the board showing my game, and Botvinnik and Kasparov are sitting there watching. I even have, I think there is a video from that time. Yes, and he liked me a lot also. There was a kind of, he told me after Kasparov as well, actually in interview also he told that there was a big fight. I mean, between Botvinnik and Kasparov, because Botvinnik favorite was Shirov. He thought that Shirov was he was also in the school.
Interesting.
He liked a bit more Shirov, and Kasparov was for me. Kasparov liked me more. And like it was a kind of battle. He told me that.
But it's the style, right?
Kramnik is
Because
good, but Shirov is like, genius. And Kasparov said, no, Kramnik is better than Shirov. I mean, okay, that was what Gary himself told, actually.
You would think it would be the opposite, no? By styles.
Yeah, the styles.
No,
yeah.
but he explained it in his recent interview I saw on Levitov Chat. He's actually very into talking about his life in Russian, and he explained why. He said, I understand why, because for Botvinnik, Shirov play was so creative, incredible that
it was
something very unusual, very like.
Yeah, he was very impressed.
And for Gary, he said, okay, for me it was understandable. Yeah, it was like, I know. I mean, this. And
I'm playing like this myself,
and like so he said that probably was, and for Kramnik, okay, there's some nuances there. I was already quite good positionally at once. Okay, for this age, so that was probably the reason. But I must say that actually also my first impression of Shirov was I never saw anything like this. Alexei was
hugely talented.
2 years. Yeah, I mean, because we would come up to a demonstration board and show our games, like one after another. There were 12 kids. So first 3 days everybody shows 4 of his games, last half year games, 1 lost, 1 draw, 2 won games. So he has to analyze it and show it, and then everybody could discuss, of course, mainly Kasparov Botvinnik, but we could add something. And then when Alexei came there, of course, I already knew the name, and then he started to show games, and to me it was wow. Also, because it was completely mad. The whole board was like both kings
on fire.
Not castles. Yes, his rooks are coming
like his book, right?
B1, B5 to H5. Another rook comes to the. I mean, like something like you feel I was not good enough yet to understand it, but you feel this is something very special. I mean, you could feel it very clear. So I can understand Botvinnik. And by the way, the last thing just to tell about it, it's very interesting. I think incredibly talented, who was like huge talent, really. I believe totally didn't realize himself, is Akopyan. Such a huge talent. I mean, by pure natural. He was also in the school. He was winning all world championships like this, under 14, 16, 18. And the guy is such a talent. I mean, it's such a pity he didn't become a really top player, because by his talent, actually, Botvinnik even told this, and in one of the interviews, I guess it was a little bit had to say something, but I think Gary didn't like it because he was asked.
Yeah, I think I read it in Kasparov's
he was asked who could beat Gary Kasparov, and he said,
champion,
and it's true. When I saw also Akopyan, I mean, so I don't know how talented was I. I mean, I couldn't assess, but Kasparov liked it. So then I started to get into international scene. I mean, national scene. International, of course, not. We couldn't really go abroad at the Soviet Union. But I started to play. First time I played in Soviet Championship already next year. I was 13. It was under 18, extremely strong, of course. Shirov, Akopyan, Kamsky.
Ivanchuk, Kamsky, I guess.
Yeah, everybody. Ivanchuk was a bit older. I think he didn't play, but like all guys whom you know after. And okay, I was only 13, under 18. I was 6 out of 80 players. It was Swiss, so it was great success, of course. I mean, I even played the last round, I remember, with Kamsky, who was leading, and I made the draw. So I stopped him from becoming champion. I don't remember who. Shirov was third. And so, I mean, and then it started. And then Kasparov, he liked my way of playing chess. And then he decided to take me to Olympiad. And it's in a way true. Yeah, he was mentoring a bit. Our relations were, we are from different generations. So cannot say we are friends, because simply it's like more like a father and son. I mean, not in the sense.
Yeah. But in a
close,
way,
but
I mean,
like,
it's just it's remarkable that it happened
yeah,
that way, and that he
yeah,
was, he was aware of you from really young age
yeah,
and just supporting
yeah.
you and
You know, I
in
think
different
it
ways,
was,
and then in the end, you beat him. Yeah,
but
and
there
The way
is
how it's
something.
supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is something very, I don't know, very mystical. It's not mystical, but like it should have been like this. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't consider myself equal to Kasparov. Of course not. Of course not. But like, I think Kasparov, it's like everything from the beginning, that he was like, he liked my play. Maybe partly he was a bit, because he was rating me highly from the childhood. So he was a little bit like Fred somewhere deep inside, that he understood, okay, I'm on the level that I can manage to beat him.
yeah,
I'm
I
not.
wonder when he realized that, or he started thinking like that. Like,
I think it was pretty early, but for some, it's very subjective. I mean, I'm not better than Anand, of course. I mean, not, but for some reason he didn't believe that Anand can beat him. But I think deeply inside he believed, because also the story of Razuvaev told me already after Gary stopped chess. And he told me the story. I mean, he was very honest man, and there was no reason for him to lie at all. But he told, because he also was, I mean, quite friendly with Kasparov, and he told me, okay, now I can tell you the story of when Kasparov was already stopped the career. And he said, okay, once, just like 2 months before the match, I went to Gary, because he was a trainer of national team, had some things, and said, okay, we had conversation, lunch, and so on at his home in Moscow. And I said, okay, I'm already leaving, like taking my coat. And he said, I was like shocked completely. And because, yeah, I started to talk that, in 2 months or in 1 month, soon you play with Kramnik. Yes, so good luck to you. And he said, I just remember it like, Gary, he looked at him, because he was very wise man, Razuvaev, and he said, Yuri, do you think I have chances? And he said, it was like not really a joke. I mean, and he said, I was like shocked completely. Like for a second, I just froze and said, no, of course, Gary, you are much better. I mean, you're a genius, But he said it was like not a joke. I mean, like
he didn't have so much confidence.
Yeah, he didn't have. I mean, that's what he told, that he didn't really have so much confidence. I mean, there was some kind of bug in his head that that I don't know, for some reason he rated that, okay, if somebody could beat him, it's only me.
Yeah.
And this
There was
bug,
something
sometimes it
mentally,
destroys you. It destroys you, yeah, because sometimes you cannot do anything about it. Yeah, it's like in your head. Yeah, it sits in your head, and then you move. No, it's nonsense. It's just some stupid.
But do you think it's
very deep,
because you always had good results against him? I mean, especially comparing with the other top players. Do you think it was because of that, or that you had good results against him because he was already like predisposed to the fact
I
that you
think,
were so dangerous?
I think both, but more second than first. Yeah, more second. Yeah, but it's true. But yeah, I know also myself that there are some. I mean, there are players whom you rate very high. Yeah, and it's subjective. Somebody believes this guy is really amazing. Somebody says, okay, nothing so special. Yeah, when we also discuss against with other players, of course, yeah, we have different opinions. I'm sure there are quite a number of players, even when I was still playing well chess, was believing I'm nothing so special. And some I know they were rating me very high. So it's subjective, yeah. And but then it's like your feeling. It's very difficult to to do something about it, because you like, and then it starts to add the fact that you may be a bit less confident, you play, and then your results are not so good against these guys, and it feeds this
it's a
conflict.
circle that doesn't.
And finally, and it fits you also, the opponent, because I can play with Gary, I have equal score. I mean, so why cannot I manage? Yeah, I mean, something what Anand, who was not worse than me, of course. I mean, would not
his
even
score was
dream
not
of
that great. Yeah.
having equal result. But I mean, so it's kind of all together. But now when you're looking at all this line, yeah, it's like it should happen. Sometimes things like this, and I don't know how I managed to win. I didn't think so much about it when I was playing. Frankly, my main motivation was actually, for me, it was a very strange motivation. I mean, not typical sportsman motivation. For me, it was like a test, like a final test. Like it was a very inner, like a challenge. I mean, for me, okay, I was already for many years like top 5 player, top 3, winning tournaments. It's all okay. Your career is fantastic. I never dreamt about it when I started chess. Yeah. But then when you got the chance to play absolutely accidentally, I mean, like by circumstances, you got this chance. Then for me, what was the main motivation is to see who I am in chess. Yeah. Am I capable? I didn't know. I mean, because, okay, one thing is winning tournament, being second after Gary, but, another thing is face-to-face 16 games with such a
With the
player.
world champion, yeah.
I mean, not only just world champion, but real.
Yeah,
it's
even legend, right?
At least best for many years, at that time, if not ever, one of the best. So it's like, for me, it was like you cannot escape there. It's because in a tournament you can manage to draw with white against guy, and then you win some guys. But here it's every game is the same guy, yeah. And it doesn't make sense to make a draw with white. You are going to lose them. I mean, so you have to fight, and like it shows completely who you are in chess. And I didn't know. I mean, and I wanted to test myself. I wanted to see, because I thought it could easily be before the match that he would just crush me. It's very possible. I mean, yeah, because he would prepare well and just, maybe I could lose like respectably, but without any real chance. Or maybe I could even get a fight, a real equal fight, I mean, winning, not winning, it was already, frankly, if I would just get an equal fight, it was already, like, for me, it was very important. It was not so much about winning. It was like okay, can I manage to fight on his level? Yeah, that was the main motivation. And that's why, why I was preparing so much, so much effort and determination, because what I wanted is, at some point later on in my life, not to say, I'm such an idiot, lazy idiot. In fact, I had chances. Let's say I lost a match -1, and in fact, I just didn't prepare well. And okay, and then I would say, come on, but I actually had chances.
I had this
What
unique chance.
I wanted this clarity of experiments. Like I do everything I can, and okay, if I'm not good enough, if I'm not even close to him, it's okay, because it's okay. I take any result, but I want to be sure that I'm on my maximum. And like this, okay, it will show me, because for me it was like more important even than the title, is just to see who I am and frankly, when I started already after first 1/3 of the match, I realized, okay, I'm just playing at least equal with him. Yeah, it's a fight. It's a very, very tough fight. And for me, it was like, okay, it was a big, understanding that I'm not just average, very, very strong GM, maybe a bit more than that. Yeah, which is already great. And of course, by the end of the match, when I realized that, well, finally something which I didn't think about, and I was giving myself maybe 20% chance before the match that I can win, and I'm there already. I understand I'm leading in score. I'm playing actually at least not worse than him. There is no reason. He is psychologically broke. He's terribly tired. Yeah, nothing works for him. I'm like on my everything energy wise, chess wise, I'm like on my maximum, and I see that I'm going to win it unless I make some stupid thing. I feel it's my moment. Yeah, and then it became very difficult. Yeah, when I understood that, that's something which I didn't really dream about. Yeah, that it's almost to come true, but I managed to hold. There were some difficult moments in some games, but I managed to hold, and then then at the end of the match, it was for too long. I was leading, dominating is too strong word, but playing better, obviously, and it became already like normal that I should win. Yeah. So when I won finally the match, it was like, I was a bit sad because I didn't have this euphoria. Yeah. like, okay, I won. I just incredible tiredness, but like I felt, okay, now I should have this moment of which I will remember all my life. No, not really. I came back, press
Pretty relaxed about it.
guys, some drinks. Okay, we are talking about games. I mean, like nothing special. And I was like, even at the same moment, just like trying to scan myself. But where is this euphoria? You know, it's not. Yeah, I mean, maybe I was too tired for that. But anyway, yeah, it happened as it should happen. Even though I don't think I deserved. I mean, I'm not equal to him for sure. But sometimes things happen like that.
And speaking about preparing well for the match and so on, can you remind us and everybody how was the story? How you came up with the idea of playing the Berlin?
The Berlin.
No, but it was obvious to me for a very long time. I mean, that in general, this should be a very good weapon against him. I mean, even long before the match. I remember when I was helping him for the match when he played Vishanand in '95. He invited me to be part of his team at the last moment, actually. And I was asking, but I mean, I told if I actually I think I even told him that Berlin. I mean, Berlin. I think I told him, or at least Euro Dahayan, his trainer. Yeah, told, but let's check Berlin because he can really play. It's like end game, very slow play, but no, it's such a bad opening. I mean that it was pretty obvious to me that I mean as a type of game, it's perfect. Then of course now it's easy, everybody knows that it's
yes of course.
At that time, computers like Fritz, etc., they were given like +1 from the beginning already after
it's actually quite remarkable that the top computers nowadays they think it's the top choice for black. If you put E4, I'm sure you know it. It's Berlin.
It's Alpha Zero finally got
Alpha Zero.
It's
quite remarkable.
It started to play, so
it's simply genius idea.
It went through because I was working with them with DeepMind, so they told me the whole story. So it went through certain phases during this 40 million games during this day. It was playing. There was even French at some point.
Karokan French at the end. They said, no. This is the way.
Finally, Berlin is the best.
And actually, for white, I think it's a Catalan, right? All the G3, D4, C4
I think for Catalan. And in Berlin, computer believes Rookie 1 is the best move after 96. Trying to play for some minimum. But I mean, it's more like fun. But of course, I didn't know that it's so fun. I mean, for me, it was like, I thought, okay, I will be slightly worse every game. It's okay. But I mean, I felt from the beginning that it shouldn't be too bad. There is no objective reason because two bishops, okay, I mean, of course, double pawns, but there are two bishops, white squares.
Yeah, it looks quite so nice optically, in a way.
Because I was
it's like this open Spanish, but the pawn on E5 is even like giving you some squares, and the only problem is the king.
Yes, but that
rooks,
that was. I think I was a victim of the visual problem of the visual fallacy that. Because usually you immediately play king e8 after this. At that time, only king was going to, and then like in your mind, you cannot like understand that you cannot castle.
If you could play,
and then like the position itself is king on e8, like, but why at all black is worse? I mean, only later you get the idea how difficult it is to connect the rooks. But visually, and that's why very often I would see some games king is on e8. I mean, I would never study, but I just come by and okay, it looks not so bad. Why nobody plays it? So, but then I remember we started to analyze it with Dalmatov, Sergei Dalmatov. He was helping me also for many years. And I was solely using him for this endgame because he's extremely strong endgame player, very, very strong. And suddenly we realized that +1, +0.8, but it's not easy. It's very dangerous. Of course, now it's not dangerous. Everything is analyzed with engine.
Now almost everything is good.
But in reality, if you don't know engine assessment, like H3, G4, knight to F4, if you're not in time, resign. Just like crash. So and then, but somehow we started to feel that it's always some dynamic resources. And that you can play in different way. That was also important. You can put king on C8, on E8, or you can keep it on D8. So, like, you feel like, okay, if it will work, it can work for few games. Because against Gary, it was very difficult at the time with black to hold for 8 games So
Yeah,
you
again,
need
P4,
something
yeah.
where you can vary also, and the play is not totally forced. It's now that the main Berlin is forced. At that time, it was not forced at all. So actually, yeah. So it worked. It worked perfectly. But again, it's like everything fixed together. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit a fatalist in the sense. It like after many years, you start to look at it, and it looks like it should have happened like this. Even the way that I lost to Shirov, I mean, that was the only way that I would beat Gary. Because I'm sure if I would beat Shirov, I'm sure we would play with Gary. We would find money. And I would lose to him in 98, I'm sure. I
It
mean,
was 2 years before that. Yeah.
I needed this loss to grow up I mean, in a way, yeah, and maybe I had to play with him later, not in 98. And maybe it's my imagination, but that's what I feel. I'm sure in 98 I would lose against him. But I mean, so when you see this, it looks like it's like a scenario which is built by someone, like a strange scenario. I mean, maybe you can
after
see
you
it
see how it all
differently.
happened, you can think,
I mean, this match, just 1 week before we signed the contract, I had not even a slightest idea that I can play such a match. It was such a incredible coincidence that it probably should have happened somehow like that. But in any case, I believe that, I mean, to me, Gary is, no, I mean, I cannot say he's greatest, but in a way, the impression of his game, there is something so special that, I mean, let's say if you tell me I'm in the island without people for 1 month, and I want to take a book of games, of course it will Kasparov games. And I mean, there is something very special about
what do you think was his strongest, like, if you could?
No, but there is spirit. I don't know how to say. There is a spirit. There is something. There is a style. There is
like the energy, right?
Yeah. There is a style. There is a concept of play. There is like his chess. Yeah. There is he makes mistakes, but he's like he's creator. He creates. Yeah. I mean, even if he plays for win, but he always creates. Yeah. It's like I don't know any player like this anymore who is like almost every game he plays. It's a creation. Different level. Sometimes not so good, but it's always like it's something very special.
What do you think about the the eternal discussion, like the greatest of all time, like the GOAT?
I don't really think anything about greatest, because it's like you cannot really tell. I mean, it's very subjective. It's like to say whom you like, Bach or Mozart. I mean, you can say who is greater. No,
but let's say there are some guys.
I personally like Bach a bit more, but it doesn't mean he's greater. It's like to me, yes. Among, let's say, I would say from the greatest in a certain sense. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be original. I would call Kasparov, Carlsen, Fischer. But to me, I would still put Kasparov first, even if objectively probably Magnus should be first. I mean, because by the level,
let's say level of play, maybe
Magnus, the quality of the game.
It's amazing. But Kasparov, Ian Fischer, of course, also amazing. But Kasparov, there is something like it's like a music, his chess. It's something
very special.
Always surprising. There is some ideas, full of ideas. Every game is full of ideas, and so there is something very special about his play, and so of course I'm not even close to him. I mean, of course I'm like can be compared with him, but in a sense of he's unique, so why it was me who beat him? I mean, I'm still surprised. I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's nice to be the only guy who beat him in a match. But
like a Greek mythology, right? Something like that.
Actually, it's not like I don't care much about it, but it's like for me it was showing at least. Anyway, it was not in vain that I was playing chess, but I achieved like maximum I could achieve, because there was nothing more than beating Garry Kasparov in the World Championship match. I mean, at least sure for me, I don't rate myself as Garry or Carlsen. I mean, I cannot do more. I mean, this is like more than I could ever imagine. And so that was like, after this, whatever you do, it's already like mission fulfilled. Yeah.
That's quite interesting. Vladimir, I have one personal question, because I read, sorry, some of your books, of course, and I always feel very interested by the fact, like, in some of your books, and of course your chess courses too. You mentioned, like, the part of chess that you like the most is kind of, for me, it was kind of, I cannot really see what is kind of the part that you really love more from chess, if it was logic or art, or what is kind of the part that you love most from chess in general.
It's a difficult question. I wouldn't say. I mean, I like chess because I mean, it's it's like creativity. Yeah, it's something in a way like musician also and so on. I believe it's like they're doing the work which is very meaningful, because okay, let's say politicians, whatever, I don't know, some big figures, but finally they stay in history. Yeah, let's say, okay, I'm not rate myself on the level of Bach or Mozart, of course, but let's say there is a big, I don't know, big politician, even very huge, big Napoleon. Okay, he stays in history. Okay, positive, negative, other thing, but did a lot. Yeah, but I mean, okay, maybe he at least a bit different because he built partly Paris. Yeah, but there are some big figures. But let's say Bach, Johann Sebastian. But I mean, the guy, how incredible influence on billions of people, new and new generations, yeah, who are just enjoying. I mean, because of his creation, make their life better, yeah, because they just enjoy. I mean, like, listen to his organ music. I mean, you feel better. I mean, what can be more meaningful than a person who lives in centuries, just by what he created? And is this, you can, I mean, like, new generation and everybody would, okay, somebody likes more classical music, less, but they'll still enjoy it. I mean, it's amazing, like, let's say, by the influence a person left to the world, to the future. I mean, such people have, or Leonardo da Vinci, I mean, they have influence much higher than any, let's say, person who was currently living at that time. I mean, like, of course, chess is not the same, but still, it's like, you are, let's say, Alohin played some games, yeah, but we are still like enjoying some games. It's like it gives you certain pleasure, yeah. It is in a way, it's like giving many generations something to learn, to enjoy simply. And that is for me important. So for me, this creation, that I'm very happy when I manage to play a good game. Rarely, it never happens. Well, but sometimes it was happening, because like you feel you created something which would stay for other people. I don't know, not because of pride, because it's mine. No, it's not pride. It's like, okay, there is a certain meaning that it's not all just for money. It's not all contemporary. You earn money, you earn you took first place, you're happy, but something will stay, yeah, for long period of time. And that is, for me, chess is what I can do, yeah, at least decently. And that's why, okay, I'm happy when I play some good games. I'm happy that I even, that I manage to do something more, if of course not eternal, but at least long lasting than actual moment or half year or 1 week. And that for me is giving most pleasure, yeah, in chess. But also I'm a
Wow.
strange person. I have a very perverse kind of way of being. I like to think. I really like to think. I mean, I
Oh,
enjoy thinking. This is
Are
really
you
like,
good at it, or?
I don't know if I'm good. No, this I cannot judge. This nobody, but I enjoy thinking. Let's say I like sometimes to go to some internet site and there is some mathematical task or something, and I just like to solve it. I mean, I just on my own. Nobody gives me money, and I'm already falling asleep. But I just enjoy trying to solve it. It is like, yeah, it's really crazy. Yeah, it's especially nowadays world. I think many people. I mean, okay, it's like thinking, well, when you have to think what to do, it's not funny, yeah, but I really like it. So for me, chess was probably perfect, yeah, because it's
Hmm.
always permanently you have to think.
Yeah, you have to think all the time. That's true.
That's why I enjoy it so much. That's why I enjoy it so much. Yeah, that's the point.
I wanted to ask you a bit about your style over the years. I was big fan of you. It's a good moment to say it, maybe. I got this book wrote by yourself and Damsky, the Red Book. Uh, was uh, I was enjoying it uh, quite quite a lot, and yeah, you see that in your games from the 90s and so on, your play was like super sharp. It seemed to me complicated all the time. All these rousers. I was preparing rouser myself, influenced by those games against Ivanchuk in Linares and Topalov, many games like that. With White also, you play knight f3 and so on, but sharp games, yeah, like that game against, I don't know, Vichy in Las Palmas in '96, where you sacrifice the queen and so on. Then towards the end of the 90s, it seems to me, and early 2000s, you became way more solid. And then again, maybe the last 10 years or of your professional career, or so, or something like that, were again more in the sharp, intense, especially side. How do you explain that? Or to me, it makes sense if, let's say, we think about the fact that you started to, I mean, you started to fight for the, I mean, you got the chance to play the world championship match in let's say 99 2000, and then you could say you care more about the result, but according to what you said before, maybe that's not the case. And then you were, let's say, you would be busy trying to keep your title, and then once you lost the title, let's say, you could say you again switch back to more interesting and sharp approach or whatever. But I don't know what was the case.
Well, actually, I was thinking about it, yeah, and I have no rational explanation to it because it was never intentional. I believe that when you really like, when you live through chess, okay, I was playing chess, so it's like it finally what happens on the board reflects your inner state at the moment or the certain period of time. And it was changing probably a lot, many things was happening, and I would just, I never gave myself a certain command, okay, now I want to start playing more solid. Believe me or not, never. It was just happening. I mean, like, okay, something happens in my life, I work with some, I don't know, my mood is different, something in my psychology changed, I grew up, or whatever, yeah, and then suddenly it starts to appear on the board. Suddenly I start to play and I see, like, okay, I start to play more and more sharp. Let's say it's the last years of my career to the complete extreme, and
Yeah.
I don't understand why. I mean, it's just like I want it. Yeah, I want to play like this, and it's, I mean, even to the level when I know I should not be so extreme, but I just want. I mean, I cannot stop it. Yeah, it's very strange, but I mean, also when I was playing this solid chess end games, but believe me or not, I was enjoying it. I was enjoying end games. I could
Yeah.
play. I mean, it was because I really at that time I enjoyed play the very subtle end game, trying to win. I remember even with we were preparing for the match with Gary. Okay, from one point there was Berlin, another was Grunfeld. Yeah, some Grunfeld end games with Bishop
Hmm.
E3. And I could analyze for hours this end game. I was just enjoying so much, some little advantage of how to put piece. I mean, then I can tell you, like in the 2015 or something, I couldn't. No way. I don't want to play. I mean, I don't want
You
to
don't
play
want to
like
look.
this. I don't know why. And I can assure you, it was, yeah, it was not like commanded. Okay, now I play sharp. No, it just happened. And at some point, I was scared myself. I mean, not scared, but I just couldn't stop. Like I remember Berlin tournament candidates 2018 when
Yeah.
the last chance I played. But I mean, with guys, Anish Giri was helping me and Evgeny Tomashevsky, and we were discussing the strategy and so on. But I was just coming to a board and I couldn't. And then I remember after one of the games, I remember I played with Mamediyarov. I was on +1. I lost this very painful game against Khabi with White, yeah, with
Yeah,
where I was
Petrov.
at
Yeah,
even
it was a
winning
great
at some
game.
point, yeah. I mean, I would even get to +3. But anyway, I'm in good position, +1, very nice and so on. And I played black with Mamedjarov. Okay. And next is a rest day. So, okay, just try to hold the draw. It was very difficult 3 games before. Very tough, long games with Fabis. And I played with Dingley Ren, also 7 hours, the draw. And, okay, just, equalize, make a draw and go home and rest. Okay, good. Of course, I'm going to do this. So, okay, I managed to equalize by, in some actually some good novelty, good analysis, and at some point he starts to repeat moves like completely equal, and I mean he's so safe. It's like, and and I take like
You got the
20 minutes. No, I
no
go.
draw.
There is some way to sharpen the game. Very dubious, but like gets completely sharp, crazy position. And of course, I go for it. Then it's very unclear. Then I'm worse, and I blunder something. Then I defend extremely well. And it's the 7th hour at the end of the there is one resource which doesn't work, and finally he wins. So finally, I spent 7 hours. Instead of, he was already repeating. No, after 2 hours, I could leave.
Yeah.
And I lose the game, and I come out of the playing hall, and they're waiting for me. And Anish is very, very respectful. But Vladimir Borisovich, but why did you decide why didn't you take a draw? Because you're not better there. I said, Anish, I'm very sorry. I don't know why. I just couldn't stop myself. And I mean that is so that was happening quite much during whole my career. So maybe from some point on, in some sense, I could have scored more points if I would be more like
Practical.
practical, but it wouldn't be me simply. Yes, and
Yeah.
you have to accept yourself with your pluses and minuses, and maybe this, so to say, minus part was just an inevitable kind of small consequence of a big plus. Yeah, that I enjoyed playing, that I tried to be creative, I tried to play different. So I cannot. Yeah, we are not perfect. Even Gary was also sometimes. Yeah, was just doing mistakes or some wrong decisions, but it's okay. Yeah, but so I tried to. I was thinking about it seriously. At some point, just trying to understand myself, and that is the conclusion. The explanation I got to. What I tell you now.
When do you think you were at your best objectively? Like if you look now from start to finish of your career, when you were stronger?
I don't know. Stronger. It also depends on the. You mean by pure kind of
Pure chess level, let's say, accuracy, or
pure chess level at the end. Because you understand chess better and better with years, but you cannot perform so well. Yes, so it's always this. But I would say this meeting point. I think there were 2 moments where I was really good. There was a moment of when I played Gary, definitely.
yeah,
maybe my understanding was still not that high, but my kind of performing abilities were completely top of what I can. Yeah, from physical shape, energy, and so on. And then I think I had a very good moment somewhere around 2007. I had a I won quite a number of tournaments. I got to the first place on rating again, and I had a few fantastic tournaments. So was a good moment. I strangely enough had a kind of reverse around. I think I had my highest actually rating, in fact, in 2016. I think was
16.
I got my highest like 28-18, something like this. In fact, in 2017, I was just 1 game away from the first rating spot. Because Magnus was having a bad period, and I needed 1 win to actually overtake him by rating and to be number 1. But I lost to Maxim Vashilograf, because he was having a very bad tournament, actually bad period, and especially bad tournament in Stavanger. I was having a good tournament, and suddenly I never really cared about this live rankings. But suddenly somebody messaged me and said, "Okay, you're just 7 points behind of him. So if you beat Maxim and he doesn't win against whoever he plays, actually you overtake him by half point." Okay, I said that doesn't matter. But anyway, I in a way it mattered, because in my head, because in normal position I started to play very aggressive with black. I lost, and he won anyway. So then it was like then. But there was even moment of that. So there were different moments of my career. But yeah, I never can tell that I'm not the person who could dominate for a kind of serious long period of time. No.
Yeah, the way Kasparov or Magnus.
Yeah, no, not even close. Yeah, but there was some good moments, yeah, here and there.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask you one of my last questions about the opening preparation in general. It always seemed to me that you were, and I know this is an opinion that many top players share, that you were kind of always one of the best, if not the best, better prepared players in the opening. Like it's almost to legendary, your preparation and analysis and so on. Did you feel that way? And what was the, I don't want to say secret, but like it's just pure work, or but it seemed to me also that your approach to opening was special in a way that it was not just memorization or whatever, or just huge analysis, but just there was a conceptual component always there. Yeah, like with the Berlin, like you said, it's good against him. There is a strategy behind it, like this is the way against certain player and so on. And I felt that you did it also in other openings and in other stages of your career. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I think that my strongest point in chess was always this phase, I would say, end of opening, beginning of middle game. I mean, very often I was outplaying in my opponent within in this, let's say, 10 moves, or let's say, 5-10 moves. I mean, so I felt I think I had this kind of natural feeling of this opening structures, how to proceed, how to develop the game. And that helps also your opening, because when you have a good feeling of this position will be favorable, not favorable, and why, and I had this kind of, I guess, yeah. I mean, then in later stages,
then you can choose better and choose exactly.
Then you like feel the direction of open. That's why I was like making a lot of new directions, because I felt this continuation, this phase. I mean, then later stage I was not so good. I mean, but I think in this particular, this feeling of, let's say, just opening ends, let's say there is a novelty, and next I would say 10 moves. In general, I mean, I was playing very well. I had so many better positions, and not necessarily because I was better out of the open, just like I felt better than, how the game should continue. And then I would most of the time spoil everything. Yeah. but I think that is the reason why probably, in opening, I had this, I always somehow felt like probably I felt a bit deeper nuances of each opening, pawn structure, and maybe that's why I could open some new things. Yeah, maybe I don't know. But
I remember when I saw you play this 4 knights, with white. It was very strange because I mean, for me, it was like a dead line. Yeah, there's nothing here. Everybody knows it for so many years until I realized it's the Petrov. Yeah, with white.
Yeah.
And then I said, "Oh, of course."
I actually almost revived this Reti. In fact, I can tell you, London is in fact is my thing. I mean, because I can tell you the story when this bishop f4, because before London was dead, because d4, d5, knight f3, knight f6, bishop f4, c5, e3, knight c6, c3, queen b6, and then it just equal nothing, and then I had this idea of knight bd2. I don't remember even. And how it happened that before Volt, Rapid, and Blitz, I came just 3 days before to play a bit of training with Magnus. We played some Rapid training games and Blitz training games.
This was the 2015, right?
Yeah, actually in Berlin, like 2 days before. And I think I showed him I played once against this. Then he started to play it against me. And then we both, it was not easy to equalize, and we both scored incredible amount of points in in Blitz and Rapid, like winning every game with this, because I showed, I think it was first there, that knight bd2 is actually makes a point, and you cannot have queen b6 so easily anymore. and otherwise it's playable. And I already was playing Carlsbad, so I said, okay, you can even have some attacking chances, bishop to d3, and so somehow it was like incredible that I was maybe just like that I was falling on. I mean, let's say I would see in this phase of the game, I would see some things. I mean, I would see, let's say, something shining in where most wouldn't see anything special. Yeah, but I could
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
key.
somehow feel it, like others in other areas. So like Gary in dynamics. I mean, okay, I remember analyzing with him in '95. It was such a pleasure. There were no computers at the time. So I remember it was not funny in the training session, like 7 hours of opposing him, and how incredibly, like inventive was he when he had initiative.
It
Like,
was mainly over the board. Yeah, when analyzing the computer
of
word,
course, but there were
computers,
there
a lot
was
of information.
only his assistant sitting there checking with engine, but engines were very weak at the time, so only
Yeah,
for blunders. He would record, he would just be recording our analysis, and from time to time say, no, this is a blunder, but that's it,
that's
yeah.
funny.
But he would simultaneously record, and then I had to defend. I was with black most of the time. He was like attacking with in some Rui Lopez, like Zaitsev, sacrificing me. I had to try to defend, and I remember I was so amazed how many resources does the guy has in his sleeve. Like it's already over, but he has this feeling. It's not like he calculates. He just starts attack. Okay, it should. Let's try. I'm not sure. Let's try. Okay, no, but it doesn't. And then at the end, we get the final resource. No, actually, it works. Yeah, and it was so often like this. Okay, from where? From nowhere. There is nothing, but he managed to create an attack. And
Yeah,
so this is
it's
something very
famous.
special.
This open Spanish. Yeah, in that match where he beat
Yeah. Actually, it was open
rook
Spanish pretty
sacrifice on
much.
a1. It's a knight b3 and so on.
I remember very well even the line which we analyzed at some point. I couldn't imagine how he managed to create an attack because there was this line with e3 e5 pawns. Yeah, when white has e3 and e5 pawns.
Mm-hmm.
In Rui Lopez there is bishop e3, knight f5, at some point knight e3, f3. I mean, and white has two knights, black has knight and bishop, and white is with this bad pawn structure, but tries to create an attack. In general, was always considered to be equal, more or less. But it's like not so many pieces left, very solid place for black, but it was just like tearing me into pieces before I would find a real defense with these knights. Knights, he would sacrifice everything, make me all the time.
Yeah. So.
And I was not bad player, I was top 5 already. Yeah, so I mean that was like something. Wow, you feel that is something like a magic. Yeah, nobody can. He's only one who can do it. Yeah, and then nobody can do it. And that is something very special when you feel this. That okay, yeah. So I guess in this field it's not that important for chess. Of course, it's much less serious field, but maybe in this field of end of opening, beginning of middle game, maybe I was the best. Maybe I was in this category of that nobody could do some things like I did. Unfortunately, it brings much less fruits than Gary's best qualities, for sure.
Yeah, today it seems that it's changing a lot. Obviously, with the computer and so on, it's a lot of a lot of memorization. I guess it was the case also 10, 15 years ago, but maybe not as much as today.
I mean, we thought at that time, we already thought, I thought, okay, this is really unbearable. This is just too much.
It's
Now,
very,
now they're laughing at us.
yeah. Now it's good to be a pensioner.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with that. Yeah. No, just some final question. We were discussing recently some topic about classical, for picking some term, classical training, meaning studying some good classical book. Let's say, I don't know, My System, or Games of Botvinnik, or Capablanca, or those types of books. Is it really useful today for young players who have all these resources and with the computer and so on? What's your take on that, or is it's completely irrelevant?
Well,
What
my
do you?
take on that to start with, it is just enjoyable. I mean, that is already, I mean, it's just interesting. Let's say take Kasparov books of my predecessors. I mean, fantastic books, so interesting to read if you
Yes.
like chess, yeah? So this already makes it worth, checking it. But otherwise, I mean, depends on your objectives, yeah? I mean, if you just want to be enjoying chess, club player, just, okay, no, it's not necessary nowadays. If you want to be like, if you're very, very, ambitious player and you really want to achieve your best, whatever it is, maybe
Let's
even
say that's the
publish.
case. Yeah.
Yeah, of course it's essential. I mean, because
Hmm.
you have to be better than it's becoming so difficult to make a difference nowadays. Many very strong, talented player. Everybody knows everything. Yeah, everybody has good memory, but you have to be better at in something than so. And I believe, for example, Magnus. I mean, his main actually what I formalized it at some point. I put words on it why he's better, why nobody can beat him, yeah, of his generation at least. Because he was young enough. Well, maybe he'll lose one day because he's just getting old. I mean, it's normal and energy and so on. But why nobody? Because they're all talented, they're all incredible calculators, so on. But he has this base, this kind of. I mean, he's the guy who combined two generations. Yeah, so he has
Hmm.
all the package of old generation and all the package of new generation. And
Yeah,
the
it seems so.
incredibly
Yeah.
talented guys of old
Even the
generation, like
even the mouse skills he has. Yeah.
even the mouse kick. Yeah. So I mean, so and in fact, most of his concurrents, they have full package of new generation, fantastic package, but they have not full, maybe only half of old. Yeah.
Yeah.
And old guys like me, and not even at the age of 40, I even managed to beat Magnus in 2000. Actually, our last game, finally I won. I mean, classical. So I mean, I was already 40 or 41, but I mean, I didn't have this new calculations on. I didn't have this package. Yeah, I mean, and like he could beat boss. Yeah, because he had the full package. So okay, if you want to be just one of the best, very good, fantastic, yeah, you can learn you can have the second package, and it's also very good. But if you want to be the best, if you want to overtake somebody from who is also subscribed to the same package, yeah, from the childhood, you have to get something else than this, yeah. And
Yeah.
I think there is still this base, this kind of feeling, this intuition of chess. It's I mean, yeah, it will give you some advantage, definitely. So even if it's a bit abstract, it's not like concrete advantage, yeah. I mean, not like you will get some novelty in Capablanca games, probably not, yeah. And even Rook End games, probably you can just study a book and understand that he in fact was making mistakes in Rook End games. But there
Yeah.
is something else, like a feel of play, how they play chess, how they approach the position, how they felt the position. This is something a bit abstract maybe for young generation, but it's important, like feeling, yeah. And feeling you will not get from a computer. So I mean, this
Yeah.
kind of
That's the question, I guess. If you can
like
get.
a feeling from, like, it's in your core, in your subconscious, like it's a part of you, it's in your genes, yeah. You just
You
know.
cannot get it from, let's say, +1,
Yeah,
+57,
I
plus.
mean, even if computers are playing great, but there is no sense. I mean, you don't understand. You don't get the concept why. But from these guys, let's say you just have a certain concept in your head. I
Yeah.
mean, it's very much on subconsciousness, but finally your hand moves in the right direction. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. You
and you don't
develop
know
this
why. Like
intuition.
Magnus, yeah, he just knows where to put pieces. He knows it. I mean, and he cannot. I'm sure he cannot explain why. But I think part of it is because he studied very carefully all the
Classical
classes.
education.
Part of it, not all. I mean, his talent and work and everything. But without it, maybe he would still be the best, but not with such a margin as he was, and probably he still will be for a while.
Yeah, that was kind of our conclusion. Like, if you could combine ideally the best things of both worlds, it would be the best. Yeah,
Yeah.
it seemed to me that, yes, if you neglect that part, it might seem practical, but it seems to me that you will be lacking something always
Yes,
in
and
terms
that's
of
why
your intuition and your understanding. But yeah,
one of my courses on this thinking in chess, strategic. I mean, the first one I recorded. It's about it. Yeah, it's about this kind of how to think about the position, what questions to ask. It's very abstract in a way,
yeah, I
but
was taking a
something
look at a
which is
couple of
very very normal for our generation. Also, I guess for your childhood, it was very no. But
yeah,
now it's not the case anymore, and but that still has value. I mean, it's still worth
for
a
sure.
lot. I
Yeah,
mean, it's still a way to play chess. So that's why, yeah. Also, I'm working sometimes well, with some players, let's say, of very high level, still now and young, and not only young. I mean, during these years, had some work with players and still have. Yeah, I think I'm trying to give this, especially to young guys, to give this, to add this to incredible qualities, talent, and the package they already have, to add this, and this can make a difference, I believe.
yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and
Well,
that's a
thank
very
you.
great insight,
I don't
actually.
know, Emilio, if you have some more questions.
No,
Please, yeah.
actually, that was the question that I had, actually, because I just read your book. I watched your chessable course. I just watched it like twice at least, I think, while I was just doing some prep. And I love the part when you have nothing better to do, just do nothing. Play H3, play H6,
Yeah,
just waiting. And the Stalin, I think there is a chapter that you talk about that Stalingrad War. That
yeah.
actually is a chapter that you're again against. I think it was against Morosevic. Actually, it was
Gelfand,
the battle for
Gelfand
one
and
square of two.
Morozevich, yeah.
Yeah. So I really love that course, actually, and I
Thank
have a
you.
lot of respect for the classics. Actually, we're always discussing that with Linear,
But
and
you know,
I
because I remember I also tell in this course, yeah, there's some stories, but I remember very well that in fact, most of the learning, first of all, there is a wisdom, there is a uh, let's say Buddhistic, whatever, yeah, not Buddhist in general, the wisdom which says, and I fully agree with it. It goes like this: that you cannot teach someone something, but he can only learn. So I mean, like, you can give certain thing, but finally it's you who is learning, yeah.
Hmm.
And that is why most of the learning, most of the improvement in your chess, it's indirect learning. It's not like you learn this variation and you improve chess. No, it's like you check this game, you see, you analyze with strong player, you check some commentary of a very strong comment, and suddenly
And
the
it all
time you
kind of,
start to play,
yeah,
Mhm.
kind of take shape. Yeah,
something gets there, and it works, and finally you become a stronger player in half a year, and you don't know why, but it's
True.
very very
True.
indirect. And I remember, for me, what was even my first Linares, I played the last story of Grandpa, because we are talking this pensioner stories. I remember that my first Linares, okay, I was in 93, I was already number 8 in the world. Yeah, I was top 10 already, I was 17 only, but Gary Karpov was playing. This is the first time I played tournament with all, like 9 out of 10 top players were playing, like fantastic feel. For me, it was like a privilege, incredible, yeah, to play such tournament. And then what I would do is, I mean, because at that time there were no computers again, and no engines, and so after the game, people would analyze game, yeah, just sit and
yeah,
analyze
yeah.
game played, yeah, in the room specially designed for it, nearby the playing hall. I mean, not the playing hall, but nearby the stage.
Mhm.
And what I would do very often, I would just see, I would finish a game earlier than Kasparov, Karpov. So if they finish and somehow I'm still there, I would just sit and listen. I mean, of course, you can sit, you can even offer more. After all, I'm playing in this tournament. Yes, so I made draw with both of them. So, I mean, I'm 17, but they would allow me to
You
offer
could
some
fight
moves.
already with them.
But I would mainly just listen, and it was so interesting, just to see their thoughts, because they tell, I was thinking about this line, and it was so enriching. So I was just sitting there like a pupil, even though and just listening, and I can tell you, after just having these free lessons, um, uh, free lessons, I mean, I think I improved a lot just listening to their way of thinking, to their assessment, to how much they see variations they give. So I mean, there is, if you are capable of learning, talented in this, so I mean, any good material is important. Like, yeah. So when they ask me, for example, which books, what should I learn to improve in chess? Okay, take books of great players, and it will anyway. If you cannot take, let's say, play in Linares or somewhere and sit
Yeah,
nearby and
yeah.
just see them analyzing.
Well,
You know,
you have the option of, let's say, watching a YouTube video where you are doing a
but
press
it's not.
conference after the game. It's not like
Yeah,
being with
but
next
it's
to
still.
Kasparov and Karpov, but it's kind of
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
second
true,
best
true.
option.
Yeah, I believe it's also because what is very important. Yeah, it's also a good thing because okay, not every player talks a lot about after the game, but I
Yeah,
mean, but it's also very interesting. I think very educational to see the way of thinking, yeah, of top
yeah,
players because
Mhm.
just because I remember with even when I was at school with Gary, first second session, there were some moments which were like, pam, for me was a revelation. He would tell, in this position, I would probably make this move. And for me, it was like, okay, so you can play chess like this. I didn't know that you can play chess like this. Yeah. And of course, I understand that if he tells it, it means you can play
it has
chess
some
like this.
value. Yeah,
And these things are very, very deeply inside you, and it enriches you. So that's why I would also, recommend to not to refuse reading books, old games of strong players, because it will stay somewhere there. Then some work will be done. It will boil the soup, and if you're talented enough, it will be quite tasty. I
it
find.
will show up at some point. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the funny thing is that I love is the part that how we can learn in not direct ways, indirectly. That's a very interesting thing to say.
No,
Like
but because
somehow you will
directly.
learn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's, I mean, in a way, talent. What is talent? I was even thinking about definition.
Yeah, that's a good question always.
What is talent?
Hmm.
In a way, okay, in a special area, because we don't have people talented in general. I mean, some are extremely talented in special area,
Yeah,
and I believe anything, for example, business, it's a special talent. I'm absolutely sure you have to be talented in business, not like everybody can do, or even politician. It's still a talent, even that most other qualities you need for it are not very pleasant, but still you need to be talented. But finally, I think about definition of talent, and I understood I think talent is in a certain area is ability to learn. It's not. It's like how do you digest the information about certain issues. So if you digest it quickly, if it gets there,
hmm
you digest it and you implement it like next day, it means you have a lot of
it's a
talent
sign of
there.
talent. Yeah,
Yeah, because I remember, for example, like even if not talking about chess, about Joel Latier, he's such a huge talent for languages. I mean, the guy speaks every world language almost. And I was so surprised because he speaks fantastic Russian, and he was studying it when he was a kid. And I remember we had some session with him. We were both young, and he would just from time to time he was asked what this word means, some complicated word. Yeah, so I would explain him because he was talking very good Russian already. And then like, okay, I try to explain because it's not easy. I explained him, and like in 2 sentences he already put this word in an absolutely correct way, in a correct moment, with a correct ending, like he caught it. I mean, I was just, how I just told
extremely
you what it
fast.
means. How could
Yeah,
you manage to
he's
implement it
able
immediately?
to
Yeah,
process it and implement it really,
yeah,
really fast.
and the chess the same. So like if you have this talent, ability to like up to get it and to somewhere in your head it's something works to digest it, and so just get. But only thing then the only problem can be is getting a wrong bad information. Yeah, just
Hmm.
care about the quality
Yes.
of what gets
Hmm.
here. Yeah, about
Yeah.
the so Kasparov,
That's
whatever,
true.
always good. So quality is very important. And then if you have talent, okay, you will digest and you will implement, and you will improve for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a great point.
that's we really appreciate actually your time and your thoughts, and it was amazing. Well, I was that was one of the reasons I was just quiet all the time, just listening and learning. You know, just
Yeah, I think
digesting all the
our audience
process.
will really appreciate it, even more so than the first part. This second part.
The
Yeah.
second
I
part
mean,
was
okay. I'm sure they will be very surprised to hear something more or less sensible from a crazy salty grandpa. Absolutely paranoid fisher. I don't know how many. So I mean, maybe they will find it that that I'm
Yeah, yeah, no, it's
still I'm already very far on my way, but still didn't lose completely my mind. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
no. Thank you very much for your time and your thoughts. And yeah, I think it's been a pleasure. Of course, I had some more interesting questions. We would
We
need
still have
a lot more time, but we don't
no
want to.
problem. No problem.
Yeah, we don't want
Anytime. Anytime a
to
pleasure
abuse
is
your
really
time. Maybe we'll do it again in the future.
mine.
We would be thrilled to have you again. So yeah, thank you very much, and uh, hope to see you again. Good luck in your projects, and good luck also with the mission of online
with the crusade.
fighting the cheaters and so on. Um, uh, yeah, it's been a great time. Thank you, Vladimir.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
been
you.
a great pleasure, Vladimir, and I really appreciate that. I'm your fan too, so yeah, as laners too, as I said, and yeah, just keep it up with the crusade actually, and
I
thank you for
wouldn't call
sharing
it a
all your
crusade.
thoughts.
It sounds a little bit too aggressive. I mean, it's yeah. I
Probably, yeah,
just hope it. Yeah,
yeah,
I just hope that it will. I will manage to change something. I mean, and okay, if those things will start to be taken seriously and serious anti-cheating
hopefully.
measures, I would quit with pleasure. I would just like wash my hands. Okay, now it's okay. But anyways, yeah. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank
Always
you
a
so
pleasure.
much.
So invite me anytime. I'm
We
there.
do for sure. Thank you so much, and have a good night or day or well,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's
anything.
not there. It's already night. Okay, thank you.
Thank